if everything you needed, all the healing, the clarity, the empowerment was already within you, just waiting to be unlocked? Welcome to Michelle's Healing Haven podcast. Here is a space where your intuition is going to take the lead. Your transformation, let it begin. Here, dissolve those fears into trust. And healing, well, it's going to become a way of life. Thank you for being here and joining me on this journey. Before we dive in, I want to let you know that additional resources and insights from today's episode are going to be available at my blog on michelleshealinghaven.com. Check it out before or after the podcast. I will always try to put additional resources that are helpful. They could be books, it could be meditations, or just some simple information and tidbits that are very helpful. You can also sign up for my newsletter there as well. Hello and welcome back to Michelle's Healing Haven. Today we are going to close out the chakra series with the 6th and the 7th chakra. There are 2 bonus energy centers that we will go over today as well that tie into these 2 chakras. So let's get started. I want to talk about the 6th and the 7th chakras together for a moment. The 6th chakra is your third eye, and the 7th is the crown. They are both divine feminine, high frequency centers that deal with the spiritual evolution of the body. It is coming back to the self. A lot of spiritual gifts house their presence here, and this energy is going to be different than the energy in the rest of the body. Your base to grow these areas, these centers, is going to be grounding in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd chakras. So if you spend time working through guilt, fear, shame, these are going to become more prominent energy centers, and you are going to feel more balanced as an individual. Working together on both of these chakras, you will also be able to put the final sting in overcoming anxiety and the overthinking method of the mind. So they are very important energy centers, but there's a lot of belief and shifts that are going to come from the lower chakras first. Now, in some cultures, for a very long time, they saw the 6th chakra as the final chakra. The 7th chakra, the Crown Chakra, can be located in the body or right above the head. So it really depends on how you look at the system if you want to include it. However, intention is greater than anything. It doesn't matter what you call the energy at the top of your head, above your head, inside your head. Whether you observe a chakra above the head, on the head, the intention stays the same. If you, for example, in the hands, observe it as part of the heart chakra instead of the minor chakra that it is, it's still the same hands. So when looking at some of the energy centers in the head, there are a lot of them. There's a lot of secondary that I will not be going over. But remember, don't overthink this. And the irony to that is the mind is where we think. So don't overthink the energy centers. Set your intentions on what you're trying to accomplish versus what things are called. So if you find that you're somebody overthinking, well, is this, or this, go with how you feel, practice, and keep moving forward. So the third eye is a very spiritual center, and the color of this center is indigo. A lot of times it's portrayed as purple, but it's technically more of a darker blue. This is the center of intuition, your inner sight, your inner truth. This is the center that you balance your mental capacity out to allow the ego to quiet down so you can actually channel through and listen to the intuition. Clairvoyance and the use of imagination thrives in this center. Now, it wasn't always known as the third eye, and it's been known by many other cultures as other things, but for this purpose, we're going to call it the third eye. In the Hindu system, the age of which an adult would go through and revisit the third eye is between the ages of 35 and 42. It's not limited to that, but a lot of the times that's when somebody is shifting into this different perception of the self. This center is all about physical and spiritual sight. Depending on which version of chakra systems that you're looking at, this energy center is going to be tied to the pituitary gland. Those who would tie it to the pineal gland are those who will also put the crown chakra not a part of the 7 chakras. The crown chakra is tied to the pineal gland in the main system, and the nasal cavity is extremely important with allowing the energy in from the throat to go up to the third eye. So if you are somebody with a lot of sinus issues, you could have a blockage in the third eye or be avoiding something that you are seeing and not communicating, for example. And if you listened to the manifestation episode, this chakra is extremely important in manifestation. The visualization that you do for manifestation is extremely important. And this is where you learn how to ground that vision, make that vision, practice visualizing. And a lot of us, when we're younger, we're very imaginative, but this is the center where we turn that back on as adults. The body parts that this energy center manages is going to include the brain, the eyes, the pituitary gland, your neurological system, your sinus, your hypothalamus, some aspects of the ears, the nose, and the pineal gland. You will also notice that a lot of this list will also be parts of the crown chakra or parts of the throat chakra. All 3 of those chakras are very high frequency and feminine in archetype. They will intertwine a lot more like the bottom 3 chakras. The bottom 3, a lot of times helping one helps the others, right? So just be mindful that they are all very intertwined, and issues with one will affect the other. But also when you're working on one and improving one, it's going to actually improve all 3, if not more. Now, some health conditions that could arise from having some obstacles in your third eye is going to be eyesight problems, deafness, nightmares, blindness, seizures, depression, pain, insomnia, hormone imbalances, dizziness, nervous breakdowns, blood pressure issues, learning disabilities, and migraines. Migraines are going to be a part that are not just one chakra. I do want to say that, and that is like highlighted here. If you have chronic migraines, it is more than one chakra, but it will include the 6th chakra. Now, some psychological functions with the third eye as a challenge: an intense irritation towards other people or an aspect of our life, very frustrated, and the inability to perceive what's really happening. There's a strong stubbornness or refusal to look or change or alter past patterns, and the inability to look forward in any optimistic, joyful energy. It's a very, very living in the past and not wanting to perceive forward because it's never going to work. It's very mindset oriented. When you are able to start seeing life through your higher consciousness rather than the programming, this is when the third eye becomes more open, more flowing, and your intuitive gifts will definitely start appearing in a way that you feel more grounded and that you can notice them. There are 2 associated archetypes with this. You have the intuitive, okay? Somebody who perceives reality through the means beyond the senses. They concentrate on the future possibilities, the unconscious, and the energy surrounding one's experiences. They look at life in a whole and they perceive it as connected oneness. It is not them versus the world. Now, the intellectual is the opposite. It's a very cold, unfeeling, and manipulative energy. It's all cerebral, there is analytical only, and they are unable to process anything that they cannot explain. There is ability for the intellectual to find balance. You are allowed to be intelligent, but also intuitive. These can be combined, and when they are, you have the ability to be logical, but remain detached emotionally and allow yourself to see the full picture in a higher way. Now, somebody who has personality profile and ruled by their third eye, they are going to be somebody who is a big picture thinker, somebody who can strategize. This person is planned for the future. They are really good at long-term planning, and they are able to create things for the future. This is also going to be somebody who understands manifestation and the visual aspect of it. Now, what happens when we're deficient or in an excess of the sixth chakra? Well, deficient is going to be denial of problems and challenges, being easy to deceive, somebody who strives for chaos. We have codependency, abusive relationships are quite common, and the difficulty in planning for the future. There's a lack of joy, anxiety, and perception issues run rampant. The opposite, the excess, is somebody who just fantasizes. You have hallucinations. You have the difficulty concentrating, obsessiveness, delusions, nightmares, self-centeredness, and turmoil. When you are able to find that balance, you have a very, very specific intellect and your intuition is strong. You use your imagination in a positive light, in a way to grow you. You can see the bigger picture, you can perceive and influence your spiritual planes, and you can establish goals and take action. Manifestation, again, when it's balanced, you have learned and are able to bring in manifestations in the intention that you sought to. Sometimes when we manifest, even from that third eye energy, there's other things blocking it. Well, when you are able to be balanced in that sixth chakra, you're going to be able to go, okay, I see why this manifestation came in as this. It's not aligned. What other area of my body is holding something that is misaligned to what I asked for? Is there a fear in my root chakra? Is there emotions that I'm holding back in my sacral? Is there grief in the heart space? Like, you can sit and go, okay, I can see why the manifestation came in a different way than I asked. Or it's going to be, well, it came in different because I didn't ask how I wanted. I shortchanged myself. I actually need to grow my vision. But the third eye and being able to be perceptive to that comes from the third eye. Even the awareness that you are acknowledging a pattern is half of the work to move forward. And I would be amiss if I did not talk about clairvoyance. It being the third eye and all is mainly for sight. Okay, anybody who is familiar with the third eye, the first thing you think of is clairvoyance. Most people, it's that clear sight, clear vision, eye of Horus, same concept. In many, many cultures, there is the all-seeing eye, there is an eye. The third eye is that clear sight. It's also a sign of a seer, of an oracle, somebody who sees the future. There are a few more insights to this spiritual ability, and I'm going to list many of them. Most people have had at least one of these experiences in their life. We are all intuitive. We all have psychic abilities. We all do. There's not one of us that doesn't. It's how perceptive and trusting of the outer world are we? And the more you get back to yourself, you're going to notice more of these open up. So first of all, anytime you receive a visual sign, that is considered clairvoyance. So when you see a license plate that gives you a message, that's clairvoyance. In dreams, when you see things happening or unfolding in ways that they actually do, that's clairvoyance. If you have deja vu, that is clairvoyance. There are a lot of times that clairvoyance will come out and you don't realize that it does. Now, I will state that the Crown Chakra and the third eye both enhance clairvoyance, and they are both in the same sort of system energy, and many did not connotate the third eye until the early 1900s that it was the third eye. So if you're trying to grow clairvoyance specifically, I would not suggest just looking at the third eye and limiting that. All of the higher chakras are going to enhance the intuitive abilities. Clairvoyance can be enhanced by more than just the third eye. Some other abilities here that are important to note are going to be the aeromancy, which is interpreting clouds, allomancy, okay, which is the throwing of salts. You have aura readings, cartomancy, which is divination using a mirror. Then you have clairomancy, the casting of bones, crystalmancy, the seeing the future in a crystal ball. And then lastly, we have hydromancy, which is interpreting signs in water. So there are many more abilities, by the way. I am only listing a lot of the common ones. There are so many parts to this. And if you're questioning some of these intuitive divination methods, go look them up. A lot of ancient cultures use these, and some even use them still today. Now, we're going to branch off really quick. I'm going to talk about the Kundalini, the last Granthi. So if you have a Kundalini awakening and you become this very spiritually moved being that is learning in this spiritual path, this is the last one, but it is very, very dense. Once you process through this, you will have a different sense of self and see everything around you in a sacred, holy, connected way. The next episode, we're going to talk about heroes and villains, but there is an ascended path that you will be on when you get through that part of the third eye. You will see things energetically in a more enlightened way. There are different paths when the Kundalini rises or chooses not to rise, and I will include those in the blog. Allow your body to process through some of these. And some of the best benefits of the Kundalini being allowed to rise is it allows your body to increase the cellular energy. It allows your healing of the physical ailments to be more profound. Also, your psychological health. If you are somebody who is trying to be more cognitive, more present, more able to actually feel like you're living, that is how you get there. It's one of the greatest tools you could do to get there, and you will actually feel healthier and be healthier. Now, going back, we are now going to move on to the 7th chakra, which this chakra is the Crown Chakra, and it is the last observed chakra in the main chakra system. The location of this chakra is at the top of the head, and in some cultures it's above the head. Either way, it is the Crown Chakra. So think of a crown on top of your head. If you are somebody who has sat and meditated, a lot of times you're going to be able to feel where this energy center is for you. You can feel like maybe the hair stand up on the top of your head or energy pressure right above your head. That's going to be the Crown Chakra. This is the seat of spirituality at its core. This chakra is generally seen as white or clear. You can have it as a lilac or a light violet, but we don't want to confuse it with the third eye. This center associates the pineal gland as the main gland. Now, something that I do want to point out is in many ancient texts, okay, when the Kundalini energy reaches this point, this little pine cone, little dude right here sitting up at the top, the pineal, that is where the enhancement in spirituality and growth enhances this little tiny gland. Once you are able to allow the extra energy, we're just going to call the Kundalini energy, the extra energy here, up to this pineal gland, you're going to have increased visions related to your higher self. You have the ability to heal diseases that might not normally be possible in the 3D mind. There's a lot of information back and forth on the crystals that are in the pineal gland, such as magnetite and calcitite. And the pineal gland, what is important to know is that the pineal gland does not like EMF. It does not like electromagnetic fields. It disturbs the pineal gland's function. Okay, there's a bunch of research on that. So just be mindful that when you are exposed to a large EMF all the time, that could affect the spiritual ability or channeling that you are trying to accomplish. Large EMF fields also have other effects on the body unrelated to the pineal, but for this purpose, the pineal gland does not respond very well to EMF. So one of the best ways to regroup the pineal gland and restore it is meditation. You want to get your brain into a specific state in order to cycle through and recalibrate it, if you were. There are certain chakra healing modalities that will also help with this. You have mudras, other chants, you have shamanic dancing. There's a lot of different practices that focus on recalibration that also specifically will target the pineal gland in a larger picture. Now, we're going to talk about one more thing here with the pineal gland, and we're going to go back to the pituitary gland, and that's the gland of the third eye. The third eye and the crown are very intertwined, but once you start mingling both of those glands and what they give each other, it allows you to access the higher knowledge and allow ourselves to detach from our personal experiences. There's one thing that I find very, very, very important about the pineal gland. It receives a lot of blood from the body, second only to your kidneys. It constantly knows what is going on with the rest of the body, and it's located at the top of the spinal column. The end of the pineal gland ends in the oldest section of the brain, which regulates our most primal self. So what happens when the Kundalini finally reaches there? That's why everything is so transformative, because our limbic system and our lower chakras are all connected to that. So let's see, what body parts does the Crown Chakra manage? Well, it manages the pineal gland, the skull, the brainstem, the cranial nerves, the cranial plexus, the cerebral cortex, your nervous system, your brain, the cranium bones, and the top of the head. Which makes sense if we are seeing the Crown Chakra as part of the top of the head, not above. Diseases and disorders related to the Crown Chakra. Well, we have muscular, skeletal systems. We have depression again. Depression is going to affect a lot of the chakras, by the way. It will start in a lower chakra, though. This will just be one of the cascading chakras that it affects. Chronic exhaustion, not linked to something physical, headaches, migraines, dizziness. Dizziness can also come from having way too much energy in these chakras and not grounding. Brain tumors, amnesia, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia, neurosis, insomnia, and the sensitivity to light, sound, and the environment. Some of the main psychological functions that are going to be disrupted by the unbalanced Crown Chakra are going to be your emotional and mental relationships with higher virtues, such as hope, faith, awareness, consciousness, and truth. And you clear through those by resolving conflicts between the ego and the higher self. You will not be able to live in third eye, crown, feminine energy when the ego runs the show. Now, depression and anxiety are often related to this chakra through the misunderstanding of spiritual principles, self-love, self-perception, and when you can see yourself as fully loved by the divine, worthy of yourself, worthy of union, worthy, you're able to get past some of these issues. Now, the positive archetype for this energy center is called the guru, somebody who is very intelligent and understands the aspect of the world. This person would be one with spirit, and they operate by the spiritual laws. On the opposite side, you have the egotist, somebody who is of that physical world, and they take little notice of the spiritual. They don't acknowledge the spiritual. And the positive part of the egotist is recognizing themselves as an individual. You want to be seen as you as an individual, but also that you are not the only one. The egotist tries to one-man the universe, basically, and control the universe. When we're talking about a personality profile, the 7th chakra is a little different. Before we focus on the 7th chakra, usually there's a chakra below the 7th chakra that we align with most. Once you start focusing on that crown energy, a lot of times your 7th chakra personality will start taking over. You gain a wider understanding of your higher self. You maintain your own personality, but you're able to expand your perspective to understand everyone else, to see everything as a connected consciousness, to allow the universal truths, thoughts, and you're going to gravitate towards more sacred philosophies and trying to understand the intrinsic understanding between good, bad, and evil. And there really, at that point to you, will not be a good and a bad. There just is. It's a different type of energy. So usually somebody who resonates with the 7th chakra, it's going to supersede the chakra that they resonated with before as their personality profile. Not that it's still not a part of them, but the 7th chakra is one that is probably going to be connected to another one. This person, if they are a personality profile of the Crown Chakra, is somebody who also leads others to spiritual pursuits as well. And they also are able to exist in the spiritual realm and converse with the spiritual realm. Somebody who is very strong in the 7th chakra is also going to believe in the people around them, in their qualities that are positive, even if the person themselves cannot see them. Now, this can lead to unhealthy relationships because that person in that 7th chakra can see through it, and they can, know that the possibility because they can see it. But sometimes it allows us to stay in things that are very abusive, that are very demeaning, and we wait for the good to show up. Okay? So be mindful of that. If you are somebody who resonates with that 7th chakra profile, you have to be mindful that you do actually attribute some of the actions to where you do and do not rest your energy long-term daily. Now, some deficiencies and excesses of the 7th chakra. The deficiencies are going to start with lack of purpose, lack of ethics, joy, a lack of trust, a lack of identity. It's very apathetic, materialistic, selfish energy here, okay? The fear of religion or fear of spirituality, unwise decisions, very cynical, especially when it comes to growth. And then you have the fear of death and fear of being alone, the fear of always feeling separate from others. Now, the excess is becoming overly intellectual, trying to be the smartest person in the room, living in your head, getting this superiority feeling. But it also comes with a manic depressive behavior, being hysterical. We have an addiction to something. It doesn't matter what the addiction is, and the disassociation from the body. When it is balanced, there is a release from the ego and the desires of the ego, and there's a different level of self-trust and trust in a superior consciousness. Empathy is enhanced. You get to understand the bigger picture, and it's a very humanitarian nature. There's inner peace, and the ability to live in the moment is present. The more you embrace that 7th chakra, it will naturally allow the rest of the chakras to trigger imbalance. And when they are, this is what comes out of it. Your first chakra, you become more grounded. You understand how to have that groundedness in you. The second chakra, you allow yourself to be creative and you see the creativity all around you. The third chakra, you feel success in the world. You see the successes, but you feel like you're a part of success. Your fourth chakra, you have an expansive heart space and you feel it, you live it, you breathe it. The fifth chakra is the expression of your true voice. You are lovingly able to express who you are genuinely, whether people agree or disagree, and not be triggered by it. The sixth chakra, the connection with your inner knowing, your intuition, is allowed to speak and be heard. And your seventh chakra allows you to have that highest state of consciousness. The chakras don't end there. I'm going to include 2 more in a moment, but this system here of just looking at the basic 7 simplistic energy centers are going to give you a different view and look on life. It's going to allow you to create more opportunities in relationships, more opportunities for your overall being, for your overall growth, but it's also going to help you in so many more ways to inspire the people around you. So if you are somebody who is like, I feel like I'm a healer, I feel like my purpose is helping other people, you've got to shine your beacon. You can't make your beacon smaller. Once you hit the crown chakra, there is not one intuitive psychic ability that is not available to you. When you are open there, you can connect to anything. A lot of people who get to the stage of mastering and trying to master, mind you, you're not going to get this perfect ever. Like, it's a constant thing. But when you feel like you've gotten to a really solid point in this, you're going to want to dive into more layers of something. And you're going to follow that, whatever that might be. That's going to bring us to our next chakra, the Causal Chakra. The Causal Chakra is behind the Crown Chakra towards the back of the head. It's going to be above the head, but it's going to be in the back. Now, if you have ever sat and meditated and feel like somebody patted that back of your head, this could be your Causal Chakra giving you information. The energy color associated is white or clear, but it also pearlescent, the shiny energy comes through here. So if you see that kind of energy a lot near your crown chakra, it could actually be the Causal Chakra energy that you're seeing. Okay. Some compare it to like the shimmer of angel wings. It's also called the moon chakra. It reflects wisdom rather than generating it. So that's sort of where it got the terminology from, the moon chakra. But this chakra, it's the bridge between the crown and the Soul Star Chakra, which is the chakra I will talk about next. This is where your past life memories, your soul contracts, and the other karmic imprints you agreed to before this incarnation are stored. If you are somebody who does a lot of past life regression or gets a lot of past information, this is really the center that you're going to get that information. And usually we just attribute it to the crown and move forward. This is also the seat of where claircognizance thrives, that just knowing feeling. So sometimes when we're going through learning processes in the chakras, claircognizance is one of the most difficult to put your hands on because you don't see it. It's a just knowing. And you don't hear it. That's clairaudience, just knowing. It's one of the hardest things to trust. But the more that you open up the third eye and the crown, this will naturally come through. Have you ever just known something was true, even when you don't know why? This comes from that center. That center is also outside of the body. I want to highlight that. You are pulling information outside the body. This chakra will also push you forward towards your purpose. There's a deep knowing, that deep knowing of, I know that there's something more that I could be doing. What is it, right? This is also a starseed channeling gateway. If you resonate as a starseed or a light worker, this will activate during your channelings. Astral travel as well. and multidimensional healing work. If you are an energy healer through space, through time, and especially if you're doing a lot of distance work, this is very, very, very important to look at the causal chakra. Some important crystals that you could use in trying to expand this chakra or work with this chakra are going to be apophyllite, selenite, the Herkimer diamond, and danburite. These are all clear crystals if you've ever seen them. New moon especially is going to be powerful for this, but allow yourself to give that time to grow. If you right now have just started learning about chakras, get to here when you're moved to. Give the rest of your physical body time to process and work through some of the other things. If you've been in the spiritual community dragging your feet for a very long time, maybe this is for you. This is a very divine energy, but it allows you to grow, and it allows you to see the patterns from a past life. It allows you to pull in the past memories that are going to guide you through whatever karmic lesson and growth that you're here for this time. Above the causal, we're going to talk about the Soul Star Chakra. This is about 6 to 12 inches above the crown, and this is the energy center where you're communicating with your higher self. Okay? I like seeing it as the higher self, and it's that higher, smarter, wiser, more intelligent version of you, because it's not trapped to this lovely, beautiful 3D body. So this is your satellite that transmits your divine truth to this being in this time, in this space. The color of this can be white, can be gold, or iridescent. A lot of times people do address this with gold. And the Akashic records are going to be here when you're looking at that. When you are actively allowing the Soul Star Chakra to be open, you are going to be aligned with your inner soul, your inner purpose, and you have the ability to be more aligned with the higher energies of the universe. This serves as a bridge. Now, I'm going to talk about how each of the 4 spiritual centers sort of translate with the intercommunication outside of the body. We're going to go at that route. Follow, follow, follow. And I know I haven't talked a lot about spirit guides and your ancestors and all of that around you. But when you have your loved ones, when you have your guides, you're using your third eye senses a lot of times to communicate with them when you channel messages from them. When you are going to higher beings such as archangels and deities, you're going through the Crown Chakra. The Causal Chakra also has energy that you would be channeling that's a little different. And the Soul Star would be more messages from the higher self. So when you start being pulled to different things in spirituality, see what you start channeling through. And when you do start channeling through, say you feel like it's an archangel message. Say you keep seeing the same archangel all the time, and you channeled the color for them, and then somebody suggests you work with them, and you see that, and you're like, wow, you channeled that. So allow yourself to realize that some of these channels, even if they might seem like static right now, they could have already been opened a little bit to send a little information through. Allowing your ego to quiet and calm and actually be more submissive to the intuitive part of you, to that inner soul of you, is going to get you the ability to hear some of the things and know some of the things and be more confident in some of these things. Now, there are many, many other chakras, energy centers in the body, but these are the main 7. We have 2 extras. Allow yourself to sit with this. Focus on the main centers, but what parts of your body say they want to be in a different energy center source? They want to be broken down even more. take the time to listen to your body. You will start feeling sensations in your body when you meditate. You will allow yourself to grow in a different way you ever saw possible. You bring in more health balance, mental balance, spiritual balance, and you're going to be able to grow beyond the bounds you ever thought possible. And to those who feel inspired to this humanitarian energy, this healing energy, this I have a purpose to help others energy, you finding your light and allowing yourself to shine brighter and be you, but also show everyone what's possible, is so profound. And when we try to put too much thought into it, instead of just doing and being, sometimes we lose where we're going. So, where are you focusing your energy? What are your energy centers calling you to? It's time to listen. This is going to be a mini excerpt for those who are trying to grow their spiritual centers. My first tip here is going to be meditate, even if it's 10 minutes a day. Find a guided meditation or find some sounds where you can just let your mind wander. Don't focus where the channeling, the message, or anything is coming from. Allow it to come. Now, any clear crystal or high vibrational, divine feminine, high frequency crystal is going to be something that would be helpful for what you're doing. All the white, all the purple, and there are many and more in between. So if you are guided to a crystal that you own, use it. If you don't have any crystals, go into a crystal shop. What are you pulled to? There is no wrong answer. Your body intuitively will know, will be pulled. The more you meditate and sit in silence, the more you're going to start hearing your body, feeling your body, seeing the sensations of your body. When I'm near a crystal that has called to me, I know it. It pulls at my body, it pulls at my core, and I'm like, that's supposed to be mine. Don't know when and I don't know how, but it's mine. So allow yourself to trust it. I recently tried to reset some of the crystals in my house, going, maybe I could have them set up in a different grid-like structure. I went to go look at it. Most of mine I had already intuitively placed in the best place possible for the maximum energy. I'd already done that intuitively. So trust your body. Trust what you feel without thinking, especially when it comes to growing the spiritual energies for you. Now, if you find that you're always drawn to the same color crystal, but maybe it's a red or maybe it's like tiger's eye, there are other reasons you could be drawn to that. So be mindful. Most of the crystals I'm drawn to are really high frequency, and I have to get grounded. I usually am drawn to black for pants or black for clothing, and that is my grounding. So we all have different patterns that are going to allow the balance of the grounding and the higher frequency. Trust yourself to make the right decision for you. And when you realize there's no wrong decision, you're going to grow with whatever you're being guided. There is no right or wrong when it comes to meditation. Go how you're intuitively guided. It is not black and white. It's, hey, what can I learn? And be open to not a yes or no, but be open to anything. And you will be surprised, especially if you keep it up and do it 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day of listening to your body, listening to the world around you. You're also going to be wiser in the energy than you've ever been before. now, this is my favorite time of the podcast. We're going to do an oracle card reading, and I'm going to do one card per chakra. This is all amazing oracles that I've got. So I first have the Pearls of Wisdom oracle card, and we're going to do this for the third eye. What does the collective need to know? What does the collective need to know? All right. What do we've got? We've got Fortune. Open yourself up to the infinite blessings of the universe and welcome unexpected abundance and joy. Trust that all you need is provided by the divine flow of the cosmos. Fortune. As I said before, the third eye, that is your key to manifestation, and most people overthink that. The visualization gives so much energy and powerful presence to your manifestations. If you need to learn more about manifestations, it's episode 3. If you have not listened to episode 1, 2, and 3, please go do that. They are hefty, but trust me, you're going to definitely benefit from it. All right, so for the Crown Chakra, I have the secret language of light. There's a theme here, by the way. Pearl, light, this energy here. It's very divine energy. All right, what does the collective need to? Okay, divine masculine, yes. In order to balance, you have to have a balance of the divine feminine and divine masculine. When you are manifesting, you manifest from the higher frequency, but you have to ground it into the earth. You have to be able to bring it down. This is definitely going to be important, but you have to find a sturdy, grounded, divine masculine energy within yourself. We all have divine masculine. We all have divine feminine. The secret is to find a balance and know when to let one lead. And when you're channeling, you want your divine feminine to lead. But when you have the action, you want the divine masculine to do its part, but then you have to sit in balance. Color is important to someone. Seeing the world in color. The world is not just black and white, it's color. It's different shades of every color. When I say something is purple, there are so many shades of purple, right? All right, now for the Causal Chakra, which is also where unicorn energy resides. If anybody wants to know that. So I am pulling a unicorn oracle. Let's go. All right, let's see. What is important here? What is important here for the Causal Chakra? Okay, we have the Ascension. We have 2 cards. I am going to keep them. We have the Ascension Lift, 39. Prepare for rapid spiritual growth and be ready for opportunities. When you unlock the Causal Chakra and when you're channeling from it, you're not just getting something for, oh, this is cool information. No. The stuff coming through above the crown, it's for growth. It's to push you forward, but in a phenomenally abundant way, okay? So you could be seeing hummingbirds, foxes, doves, or kangaroos, or unicorns. And number 43, we have enlightenment. Look from the highest perspective and seek the divine in everyone. Yes. Again, that's a beautiful causal message here. This is all phenomenal. Keep going. Whoever this is for, you are exponentially growing. Don't stop. Now, when I list the Kundalini levels here at the end on the blog, it's going to show you the different paths. Not everybody who has a Kundalini awakening cares to keep going. It's worth it. I'm going to tell you right now, it's worth it. All right, our last but not least, Soul Star Chakra. I chose the Starseed Oracle. And I know the Starseed technically doesn't have to be all the way up at the Soul Star, but we're going to pull the Soul Star. Figured the stars. So if you resonate as a Starseed, this could be your message. What is the person who's listening to this? Child of the cosmos. Oh man. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. Baby steps. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. I want to challenge the person on the other end of this. If you are newer to spirituality, look at the main 7 and go from there. Give yourself time and grace. The little baby steps forward do matter. Now, if anyone here has ever heard of spiritual psychosis, here's the thing. If you push your energy centers before your physical body is ready, and some of the spiritual aspects, you could feel like you're hallucinating. You can feel like you're in a different dimension, but you're not going to be able to embrace it in a productive way. Allow yourself to open naturally to the energy centers. They call to you. They will. So if you are newer to spirituality, focus on the lower centers first, and you will be worked up to this. Find a way to get better at the patterns of the third eye, the patterns of the crown. When you start finding peace in yourself, if you feel like I can come to perfect peace, anxiety does not ruin my life, you will be pulled automatically to work on these others. I'm going to tell you that, and you probably already have been working with them and just not naming the energy centers. It is less important to name where it's coming from, more important that you are growing and trusting your intuition. You have all of this within you. It's strapping and taking away all those layers that have clouded this hearing. Numbers here, we have 43, 39, 32, and 40. Don't know if those resonate. And also I started this at 222. So you are the universe. The universe lies within you. And when you start understanding how you integrate into being connected to all, you are going to see the world in a different light. Follow the intuitive nudges. If you are here on purpose. I want to thank everybody today for joining for today's podcast, talking about the third eye, the crown, the causal, and the soul star chakras, all those higher frequency chakras. You have so many intuitive abilities and so many brilliant downloads coming. Allow yourself to work through and work forward and learn more. Be guided to that knowledge and that wisdom. Keep moving forward. No two people have the same path and are pulled to the same things, and that's okay. What were you pulled to? And if you are looking for a personal mentor, I do offer 3 and 6 month mentorship programs. You can check the link in my blog or check it out at michelleshealinghaven.com. Our next episode, we're going to be talking about heroes and villains. It's going to be a phenomenal episode. You're not going to want to miss it. I hope everybody has a phenomenal day, week, year. Continue spending time on you. It's not selfish. You deserve it. Love, light, and positive vibes.